so it's pretty much that time again. We get a pretty tremendous Xbox update. Sometimes these things aren't really that well done, or they're sort of rushed out and don't really offer a lot of upgrades and things like that. But this one, I think, is actually a very well done update, and I feel like Microsoft is on the right path with getting the Xbox Series X and S to where they need to be. You know, like I've mentioned numerous times when I do a video talking about like some updates and things like that. It's such an amazing thing to me, because growing up, you know, in the 80s and 90s and things, you didn't get updated anything. You know, whatever you bought was it. You didn't have a dashboard really or anything like that. You just, you know, popped in your game and then you turned it on and you played your game. So, you know, it's just one of those things that has kind of grown over time, and we're starting to see, I think, these things starting to peak a little bit, and I like it. You know, as a console owner, you want to see these things kind of continue to get enhanced and to continue to grow, the experience to continue to get better, and thankfully that's what it's doing. I've always stuck by it, regardless of what I think about Microsoft's terrible plan in regards to, you know, putting their exclusives everywhere. I still think the Xbox Series X is a great console. I think the Series S is a solid console, so I know people probably will disagree with that, but you know, it's just like you get what you pay for, and you know, I think it was a great idea to allow people to get into playing games at a lesser fee. You know, did it pay off? Listen, I don't really know, you know, because Microsoft has done a lot to kind of mess up. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm Crab Gamer. This is Crab Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. Please like, share, subscribe. That's the best way to kind of show some love to the channel. I do daily gaming content, so if you guys are looking for someone to do video game talk every day, try to be fun yet informative, hey, you found him. That's me. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about this update. Really cool stuff. It looks like Xbox is adding new ways to personalize your console's home screen. This is something that really bothers a lot of people. Like for me, I think one of the main things that I really disliked about the Xbox this generation is the fact that we just stuck with the same, you know, dashboard as the previous Xbox, you know. And again, you know, in some ways that makes sense, but again, it's like I don't understand it, because you know, if you look at the PS4, that had a completely different setup than the PS5. You know, I think maybe Microsoft kind of hurt themselves a little bit by not offering, you know, an upgraded experience right there. But still, you know, this sounds really promising. It's been announced that your Xbox console's home screen is getting 3 new personalization options in the near future, and 2 of them are actually rolling out to alpha and alpha skip ahead Xbox insiders. Team Xbox is responding to direct feedback with the update, saying, quote, "We've heard from many of you that home should feel more like your space, whether it's surfing your favorite games, hiding what you don't use, or simply making home feel less crowded. This update is a direct response to that feedback." Hey, you know what, listen, I'm not gonna hate, but it only took them, what, 5 years to do this? Like, I think a lot of people kind of complain about, you know, the home screen and things like that, and I think, you know, the home screen is one of those things that, you know, should be highly customizable, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are, you know, playing these things for, you know, a certain amount of time, and you know, that's the thing that I like the best about it. You know, it's like we get to update it, move things around, change things around, pin things. I love that about the console. You know what I mean? It's just crazy to me that the way that things have kind of fallen apart in that regard. But yeah, you know, like I said, really cool stuff. Beginning for some insiders, this upcoming week you'll be able to hide your system apps such as Netflix, Microsoft Edge, etc. on the Xbox console's home screen, as well as pin up to 3 favorite games to the home screen permanently. Then in the near future, you'll be able to reduce the number of tiles in the recently played games and apps list, allowing you to see more of the background and ultimately streamline how the dashboard looks. Exactly how describing the 3 personalizations on the Xbox website. Of course, I'm going to link this so you guys can all check it out and, you know, figure out if you like this idea or not. Hide system apps. It says you want a cleaner view of your games and entertainment. You can now hide system apps from the most recently played list, reducing clutter and keeping your home focused on what matters most to you. pin favorites to home. You can now pin up to 3 of your recently played games or apps directly to the recently played games apps and apps list. These pins will stay near the front in the list of when you launch other things, giving you quick access to your go-to titles. Reduced tile count coming soon. Prefer a more minimal look? This setting allows you to reduce the number of visible tiles in the recently played games and apps list, helping you streamline your home and surface only the essentials. They're still refining this setting, and it will be coming soon. So there's no real word yet on when these features will all be expanded to Xbox users, but it'll probably happen sometime over the next few weeks or month, and then they'll likely roll it out to all tiers or whatever. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I like what they're doing here. It's nice to see for Xbox gamers to get like more updates like this, and that they're actually paying attention to what the fans are kind of asking for. That's all I've said. When I've been talking about what Microsoft does and how they kind of react to the fans and things like that, I think they're a little slow with reacting to the actual console fans, but overall it's hard to complain with what's going on in general. I think that most of the time they're doing these things at a weird kind of rate, and I still think that Microsoft has something up their sleeve. I mean, you have to have something up your sleeve at this point, right? I don't see how they cannot. And next generation is going to be next generation. I think maybe Microsoft does do some kind of hybrid thing. I don't think that'll work. Maybe the thought process is, if we have the ability to install PlayStation games on our quote-unquote console, then it mitigates the loss of not having our own exclusives. I don't think that'll work, because usually PC is an open platform and console isn't. And if you're opening up your console, then you're really inviting trouble in terms of like cheaters and hacks and that kind of stuff. So I always just kind of look at these things in a certain kind of way, maybe a little bit differently from you guys, but again, we all kind of think different from time to time. I always kind of look at these things and judge what I think, for me anyway, I do think that Microsoft, like I said, they seems like they're listening to some on the console side. I just wish that maybe it was coming a little bit sooner. But again, that's not for really me to decide. It's really up to what Microsoft wants to do. Again, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's just one of those things where Microsoft is at least functionally listening to what the fans want, and again, making the experience on Xbox a little bit better. I don't think that can ever go out of style. So again, I'm excited to see. Like I said, if you're an Xbox fan, you're probably pretty happy with the the amount of, I would say, I wouldn't say exclusives, but I would say first party wise, you're probably pretty happy with what they're offering. Like their games are factually getting better. I mean, if you look at it, stuff like Avowed, you look at Doom Eternal, good ratings there. The stuff that they're putting out seems to be of quality. I just think that it kind of falls on deaf ears a little bit if you don't have anything that's exclusive out there that's going to be able to kind of showcase your platform. So again, that's how I feel. I know a lot of people don't like it when I do positive Xbox news or whatever, and they go, well, positive Xbox news, but you just said you hated Xbox, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's the thing. I love Xbox, but I just hate their strategy of no exclusive games. And, I always kind of push that because people don't understand. It's like, for me anyway, the one thing that, I like to do is support the industry, and it's like very hard to support the industry if and to me, supporting the industry, and I know a lot of people that do this too, you buy all the consoles for all the different games. Now, is that do some people find that anti-consumer or whatever? I don't know, but could you imagine if there was only one choice in gaming? I just don't honestly understand the people's thought process with that, because if there was only one choice, I think that's gonna really kind of hamper what we have to begin with. So we'll see. I'm interested in seeing how Microsoft navigates that weird kind of future. But if you guys are happy with it, hey, all the better. I think there is a lot of good things about Xbox. Maybe, focus on that a little bit. Just like I said, if you're only an Xbox owner, you're good for right now. They're not going to just suddenly drop support of the current Xbox. So you got years to go with your current platform, and it seems like they've got a good roadmap of exclusive games. So you can't really go wrong there. And like I said, I'm excited for the games that are coming. Like I said, Game Pass has become an incredible value. I know people have always been kind of hawking that as an incredible value, but me, I feel like this year is the first year that it's really kind of proven itself to be that value. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.